Hello all you people out there in TV land. My name is CB Studios, also known as Kurt, and it's going to be a little bit of a different one today. We're doing some construction, so it's going to be a bit of a looser video, and it's mostly going to be time-lapse. But I am beginning to work on my stuff for Halloween. Now last year I did a big Pirates of the Caribbean display in my front yard, and this year we're doing Beetlejuice, the ghost with the most, the bio-exorcist himself. One of my favorite cosplays that I don't wear enough. But I figured that Beetlejuice was going to be excellent for this, and if I say it another time, he's going to pop up, and that's not going to be great. So what I'm working on today is the big marquee sign. So it's the big light-up sign. It's a big red arrow, yellow thing that says his name twice, and I'm building that from scratch out of stuff called Sintra. This one's called Handy Art. It's a foamed PVC sheet. So it's a piece of plastic. Let's see whether we've got some floating around on the floor. It's basically, the stuff I'm using is 3mm thick. It's very easy to cut and sand and shape. It's a thermoplastic, and in Australia you can get it here from Bunnings, and I figured that one sheet of that would be enough to do my sign. And that's roughly it. It's going to work really well. So I'm going to cut out the shape and the edges and build that all up hopefully in this video. We'll see how well that goes. I have my measurements and dimensions and drawings here. Now these are off the Replica Prop Forum. A new user named Drasticshift posted his build-up of a couple of big Beetlejuice prop pieces. Both the Dante's Inferno room, which is the thing that I've been planning on doing for the facade for the front of the house, as well as the Here Lies the B Word, or the, not the Here Lies the B Word, the B Word marquee. And he was very gracious and posted all his schematics and diagrams and all of his work as he went, which was really, really nice of him. And so I've opened up those images. His were all in Imperial because he's from the States. And so I did some maths and converted what I wanted, or to roughly what I wanted for size-wise. And it wasn't big enough, so I then scaled everything up by 20%, and that's put me in the ballpark. Now, it's not going to be as big as it should be, just because I don't have enough material and I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on this. The PVC board was about 30 bucks. And I got a set of lights, and they were about $33 as well. So that's putting me right about where I want to be for this prop. I will do the light up piece on the front, but I've got these nice, they're everywhere, they're everywhere. I've got these nice light bulbs that are a LED. I'm just going to drop them on the floor. They're an LED, and they're done up as a big string. They're both solar and USB powered, and they have unscrewable bulb caps, and they do a nice sort of we can get it doing its flash thing. They flash. They're not overly bright, but that's great. I want that classic incandescent look. There's 100 of them on this string, and I need, I think, about 70 for this. So we're going to cut out the main shape, mark out where all of my lights need to go. We're going to drill a bunch of holes and set that all in. There's not going to be much talking through this. It's going to be basically just you watching me do this. I've already drawn out my design mostly onto the Sintra here. That's how I started this, and then I was like, fuck, I should video this for my YouTube. So we will do that. I will be gluing everything together, hopefully. I should have enough plastic to do all of my edging. There should be a 25mm or a 1-inch tall raised edge around the whole thing. And I'm just going to glue that on with super glue because that'll bond really nicely. And we'll check back in once I run out of plan. So let's check it out. Before we get too far into it, this is my PVC board. This is the main sign piece. So we've got the edging, which I will divide up and split in half dimensionally so that I've got my mounting place for all of my lights, which go around this edge. This piece will be cut out and there'll be a raised section. This will be a light box that will have the two big words on the front. We've got the bottom part of the arrow, which is going to be separate, and that'll be attached under the bottom here. And then we've got the top part of the arrow. So this is going to be about 72 centimeters long, 720 mils. This is about 400 mils, and then I think that's about 25 or something like that. These are my measurements. As you can see, I've gone back and revised all of my measurements as well to account for the slightly larger sizing that I wanted. And then we have a big pile of lights, and we have a Slimer mug full of coffee. I've also worked out roughly where I want my light chain to start, which is down the bottom here, because it's one big long continuous piece, and I think I should be able to get it to do one long continuous thing. And it's just going to flash on and off. It's not going to do its chasing as it should. I just don't care. I wanted to do this as simply and as idiot-proof as possible because it will be out in the weather for about a month. So doing it this way with one long continuous strand of lights that are fairly easily replaceable with no complex electronics is the better way to go. Guess I'm gonna get cutting on this, or marking and cutting, and we will see with the time lapse. Alright, so we've got this basically assembled. As you can see, we've got the nice little return edges, we've got the main set of the marquee there, and we've got the top piece there. So what I can do now, just in the interest of keeping things moving, is I'm going to take the top and bottom piece of the arrow outside, and I'm going to spray them with some plastic primer and then some red spray paint. I'll spray the back black, and I might just do the same and do yellow for the marquee section. Now I do have to work out what I'm going to do to mount the big sign piece in. I haven't worked that bit out yet. That is a work in progress. I might just make a frame out of Sintra and assemble that so it's a drop-in piece, and I'll have it so it screws in or some shit. I don't know. I got these standoffs that hold the wall nice and square. I guess we're going to wing it. All right, spray paint time. I didn't video me spray painting. Just imagine me spray painting with a spray can. Cool. Alright, so we're back on day 2, and let's have a look at where we got to. So the last thing you would have seen is me popping all the lights in. This is just as a test to see how everything's sort of fitting, but let's swap you around and see what we've got. Alright, so this is where the sign is at the moment. We've got him all painted, we've assembled it all up together, and we've popped all of our lights in just to see how we go. So the light setup that I'm using is USB powered, and annoyingly enough, it doesn't run off USB power directly. It does have to have a capacitor in there, which dims all the lights. But if we can get this going on, we get it nice and flashing. And that looks really, really cool. So a few of these have to be painted red, so we'll test that. Next up, we'll be doing the big plastic screen in the front here. And so what I've got is I've got a really cheap A1 poster frame, which has enough plastic in the front of it that I can do my marquee bit. You can see the Beetlejuice text there, which has been cut up on a vinyl cutter. That'll be sticked onto the front. The back of the plastic will be painted with the yellow spray, and I might put some diffuser film in there as well. I haven't decided. We'll do some tests and we'll see how that works. I've also got to work out what I'm going to do for lights on the inside of here. I have not worked that bit out yet. That bit comes soon. So for the red lights, this is a test of one, which I've already got red paint on me, which is great. And I am just using Tamiya's clear red as a spray. It's designed for plastics, works really well, and that should still allow me to have the red flashy bits. That should still allow me to have red lights on the flashy ones, and they just screw into place. So let's get working and clean some paint off my fingers. Well, alright my spooky idiots, we're kind of at the point where we're done-ish on this. Obviously there's a bunch of the video that was just time-lapse. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail on stuff because I kind of made it up as I went along. A couple of things that we've done. As you can see, I got all my lights in, which is great. They're all set up off the one circuit around the outside. We've then got the marquee sign through the middle. You saw me apply the vinyl, like the sticker vinyl for that sign. But the back of it's been sprayed with a gloss white and then a misting of yellow around the outside to give it that opaque finish and that kind of manky sort of yellow look. At the moment, the lights inside the marquee box are only temporary. They're the end strip of this outside lights, just wired up to 2 AA batteries. The other thing that I've done is I've spray painted a bunch of the individual bulbs with a translucent red, as there are red light bulbs in the movie that go around the outside in this awful fucking non-patterned pattern, so fucking great. Love that. Love that for me. Bugs the crap out of me. I did fuck up putting the vinyl on the first time. I had to get a second one cut. It's really sticky stuff, except for the bits that are peeling up because the plastic is flexible, so who knows what's going on there. Eventually there will be a frame around the outside to hold that in shape, so it's not going to be flexible or anything like that. So, a couple of things. As much as I love this light setup around the outside, I wish it was brighter. This little solar box is a really weird little setup. It can run off USB, but is a solar powered box. I'd like it all to run off USB for the purposes of mains power for the purposes of my Halloween display. It will run directly off USB without the battery in there. It's got a little rechargeable battery. You can take the rechargeable battery out and everything goes really bright, which is awesome, and that would be ideal. It goes probably 3 times as bright as these lights, but won't do the flashing circuit. And even bridging the contacts doesn't seem to do anything, so I'm not sure. I guess the battery just acts as a resistor to run that circuit, which is a little bit frustrating. I also can't run these lights off the same battery setup unless I shorten this cable significantly. I'm not sure I want to do that yet. So we will be revisiting the electronics in a part 2, probably a little bit more in-depth than me just plugging a bunch of lights in. The light setup on the inside doesn't have the globes on it, and it is just straight LEDs like a set of fairy lights. I may replace it with fairy lights, I may replace it with batten lights, I may replace it with LED strip lighting. I haven't decided yet. This is a work in progress, obviously. The next thing that this thing is going to need is some weathering, and it's going to need a stand, and that's going to depend entirely on how I want to set it up for my Halloween display. But at the moment I'm calling this functionally done, masking tape and hot glue aside. But for about a day's work on that, I'm very, very happy with it. It's got a lot of promise. It does look very much like the Beetlejuice sign should in the movie. It's about half the scale. We're about 75 centimeters across from edge to edge, so it's pretty large. What's that? That's over 2 feet, 2.5 feet, something like that, which is very, very good. It's probably 3 feet tall, so awesome. Really happy with it. Seems fairly sturdy with the color on it. It looks fantastic. Look, I know I said this was going to be a how-to video or a watch me do some work video. It's really hard setting this stuff up when stuff goes wrong, and then trying to pay attention and focusing not just on building the thing really nicely, but also doing the video. that's all from me, guys. Expect a part 2 on this somewhere down the line. There will hopefully be a video on me building my Beetlejuice tombstone as well for the Halloween display. So keep an eye out for that. If you like seeing builds like this, absolutely let me know. That encourages me to do more of this. Otherwise, if you guys just like the show and tells, I'm happy to just keep it show and tells because this was awful to try and film and made this take twice as long. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Send me a subscribe down the bottom if you haven't subscribed already for more Beetlejuice content. Absolutely throw me a like. Let me know what you think of the sign. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Say it once, say it twice, third time's the charm. Beetlejuice.